So this is the Walking Pad X21, and this is one of those products that sounds simple on paper. It's just a foldable treadmill, but in practice, it's actually quite a clever bit of engineering. This one's all about saving space without completely compromising on performance, and that's a really difficult balance to get right. Most compact treadmills feel either flimsy, too short, too narrow, or just underpowered once you go beyond walking. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through what the X21 does well, what it doesn't do so well, and whether it actually makes sense if you're tight on space, but still want something that feels like a proper treadmill. And as always, this is not a spec sheet read. This is based on actually using it 3 times a week for the last 2 months. Let's start with the headline feature, the double folding design. This thing folds in 2 places, which means it collapses down into something generally compact. When it's folded up and stored vertically, it's one of the smallest yet complete full-size treadmills I've ever seen. It looks the part too, really nice clean lines with almost a minimalist look. And that's the key point. This isn't just a walking pad that tops out at a gentle jog. This goes up to 12 kilometers per hour, which is more than enough for most people's running needs. The folding process itself is pretty straightforward. There is a bit of a sound when folding the first section, a kind of tension or spring noise, but Walking Pad confirmed that this is normal. Once folded, you can store it upright against a wall, behind a door, or tucked away into a corner of a room. And in a UK home where space is often the limiting factor, that's a massive win. One thing worth mentioning though, its width is just about narrow enough to fit through a standard UK doorway. It will go through, but it's very close. And because the vertical bar frame is powder coated, it can pick up little scuffs if you're not too careful. So I would personally have liked to have seen a slightly tougher material used for the bar. The X21 is fairly heavy, about 37 kilograms, but that weight actually works in its favour when you're running on it. Once it's in position, it feels stable, planted, and definitely solid. It doesn't walk across the room, it doesn't wobble, and it feels confidence inspiring even at higher speeds. At 172 centimeters tall, the running surface itself is definitely long enough for me, and I didn't feel like I was running out of deck space or having to shorten my stride unnaturally. The cushioning is reasonably soft, but not overly bouncy. However, if you do want it softer, I recommend putting a treadmill mat underneath to help reduce vibration and noise, and it will slightly soften the feel underfoot. One small thing that you do notice, especially barefoot or with low cushion shoes, is the folding hinge line under the belt. You can feel it faintly as your foot passes over it. It's not distracting, it doesn't feel unsafe, and you do definitely get used to it. But it is worth being aware of, considering you cannot avoid its folding design. The controls of the X21 are one of my favourite parts of this treadmill. You've got a simple rotary dial, and it's generally nice to use. You can spin it slowly for more fine adjustments between 0.1 kilometers per hour steps, or spin it quickly to jump up or down in 2 kilometers per hour chunks. I found this to be really useful when you're switching between walking to jogging or jogging to running. On both sides of this dial, you'll find built-in OLED displays that show speed, time, distance, and calories. And there's a removable stand that can slot into the main bar itself, which will hold your phone or tablet. I regularly use mine with an iPad, and even during faster running, I didn't really have any issues with the device wobbling or feeling unstable, especially on a solid floor. A softer or uneven surface might introduce a little bit more movement, but overall, it's been fine for me. The KS Fit companion app is actually pretty good. There's a number of pre-built beginner programs, walking plans, and running sessions, and you can create your own custom workouts as well, which is what I ended up using the most once I moved past the beginning workout plans. What I would love to see in the future is a deeper integration with third-party devices. For example, being able to mirror something like an Apple Watch workout zone onto the display would be just brilliant. It would also be good to display other running data on these displays, and I don't think I was able to change between kilometers to miles per hour on that display either, which feels like a small but important thing for some users. The motor inside the X21 is brushless, rated at 918 watts, and in use it feels smooth and consistent. It's fairly quiet for a treadmill, especially at walking and jogging speeds. When you get into faster running, you obviously start to hear footfall noise more than the motor noise of the treadmill. Whilst walking, it's definitely quiet enough to watch something on screen, but at a much more faster pace. If you want full immersion with a show or a workout video, I definitely recommend headphones or an external speaker. Top speed is 12 kilometers per hour, which is just over 7 miles an hour, and I found it to be more than enough for my needs. And the transition between speeds are smooth rather than jerky. After using the X21 for a number of weeks, every other day, I have a few practical notes. The wheels are quite small, so on hard floors they are fine, but over thicker mats or plush carpets, bigger wheels would definitely have helped. The vertical beam doesn't have any ability to hold a water bottle, which feels like a bit of an oversight for a treadmill that's also been designed for running. The power socket is where the motor is at the front of the treadmill. I would have preferred if the cable exited out the side, or if it shipped with a right angled cable, because that way it could sit a little bit closer to the wall when stored, which would have been useful when space is really tight. I also experienced a bit of bubble popping noises under the belt early on. This apparently is just trapped air in the cushioning layers, and Walking Pad recommended gently pressing and smoothing out these bubbles, which eventually naturally improve over time. On top of this, I tried the walking pad under a desk, which was possible, but I did encounter a few issues with the vertical bar beam, and getting it underneath a desk made that a little bit harder. The treadmill would also be slightly off center, should you have any cabinets or drawers underneath your desk as well. Whilst underneath your desk, controlling the X21 also becomes a challenge, with no longer having access to the controls at the top of the vertical bar, which forced you to use its companion app to control speeds instead. As for its safety, you get a magnetic safety key that stops the treadmill instantly if it comes out. There's also overload protection, automatic standby, and a child lock through the app, which is reassuring if you've got kids or pets around. So onto the downsides. There is no incline function, even though the app shows incline options. So if incline training is important to you, this isn't the treadmill for that. It's definitely not cheap, and it's clearly positioned as a premium product. There is the previously mentioned no cup holder. Due to its design, you have the hinge being felt slightly underfoot, but this isn't an issue with thicker footwear, and the finish could be a little bit tougher for squeezing through tighter spaces. However, none of these are deal breakers for me, but they're definitely worth knowing. So overall, the Walking Pad X21 does exactly what it sets out to do. It gives you a proper running treadmill experience and a form factor that actually works in small homes and flats without feeling flimsy, underpowered, or compromised. It's definitely stable, well designed, easy to use, and smart without being overcomplicated. If you've got the budget, you value space saving, and you want something that feels a little like a treadmill rather than a toy, the X21 is generally a good option. It's definitely not perfect, nothing is, but it's one of the best executions of a compact, foldable treadmill that I've used so far. Okay, thanks for watching, and I hope you found this video helpful. If it has, give us a big thumbs up down below. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions about the X21 from Walking Pad, and I'll try my best to answer them. If you like this content and you'd like to support me, you could do so by sending us a super thanks down below on YouTube, hyping this video for free, or you can check out this QR code here on screen to buy me a coffee, and you can support me there too. I really appreciate it. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Cheers. Bye.